What's going on? Boys, today we are talking about how to drag yourself out of a rut and become the person you want to be. Firstly, what is a rut, or what is the sort of rut I'm talking about? Well, for me, a rut, a real rut, is when you want to succeed, you want to feel better, you want to feel happy, but time and time again, every single time you try or have tried to drag yourself up, to crawl up out of nothing, you do something, it fails. You try again, it fails again. You try again, and it fails again. Right? Every single time you fail without any degree of success, you lose that motivation and that hope. You will succeed and you will feel better, and you stop trying. But that desire, that hole inside you, that whole needing success or fulfillment or love or whatever it is, probably all those things, that hole remains. But you lose that spark every single time what you try doesn't work. And eventually, that spark is gone. What's the point of trying? I have tried so many times before, and nothing has ever worked. What's the point? I still want these things, but there is this wall between me and them that is insurmountable. I've tried. God damn it, I have tried. And then you start reflecting. Maybe you hate yourself. Maybe you hate everyone else. You'll probably pick up a bad habit. Maybe get yourself addicted to something that makes you feel a little bit better for a few moments, and then immediately after it wears off, you feel so much worse. But you get yourself into this cycle of, I can't achieve true happiness or fulfillment. So, to stave off this hurt, I will use whatever this substance is to make myself feel either a little bit better or just to numb myself out and feel nothing. And then, again, it wears off, you feel worse, so then you use even more until you are just a husk. That's a rut. How do you break yourself out of that rut or that cycle? Well, first, accept you may not achieve exactly what you want. I think you will, but accept the fact if you ever want to, one, break yourself out of the rut, two, achieve what you want, accept that you will be working for no pay, no emotional pay, no self-fulfillment pay, no nothing pay. You will be doing this expecting nothing. And what is the this you'll be doing? Well, what you'll be doing, or at least what I've been doing, is focusing on the man I want to be. The man I want to be is always calm, always kind, always forgiving, always positive, always finds a way, never gives up. And you might say, well, Skimmerlit, that's great and all, but you can't force yourself to be those things, and it's unrealistic ever to think you'll always be all those things at all times. And you're absolutely right. You can't force yourself to feel a certain way. You can't force yourself or expect yourself always to act a certain way. But Patrice O'Neill's intent versus impact. He used intent versus impact to mean I meant this with what I did or said, but the impact was usually something negative and unexpected. Well, if you apply intent versus impact, one, not to your action, well, partially to your actions, but to yourself, and then with a positive spin, your impact will always matter more than your intent in all things. So, if you make your impact, your external influence on the world, on others, positive, it won't matter if you are a hollow, miserable wretch of a human being. On the inside, that's your intent. That's probably the intent, the self you're working with. But if you make your external self positive, strong, calm, forgiving, kind, all those things, and you work on it, doesn't matter how you feel on the inside, you keep yourself those things on the outside, you will, one, your impact will be positive, and eventually you will start, the crops you're watering with positive impact will grow, and you can harvest them and bring them into your intent, into yourself. And then you can stop, well, maybe you won't stop being an empty, miserable, Kingdom Hearts, the nobodies, right? Like the skin suits that are just zippers, and then on the inside there's nothing. You can stop being so much of that. And that can be beyond difficult, right? On the inside, you're thinking, fuck, dude, I don't feel like being positive. I don't feel like being nice. I don't feel like looking for the silver linings. I don't feel like doing any of those things. But if you work on keeping your outside positive, it becomes more natural and effortless. It's like a muscle. External positivity is a muscle you can get ripped with. That's not how muscles work, but you know what I mean. And once you've developed external positivity to the point you can maintain it, even if it requires effort, you can maintain it among others at all times. It's like Demon Slayer, right? The complete control breathing. You get yourself to the point you're that way on the outside at all times. Eventually you start seeing results. I'm an INTP. My inferior function is extroverted feeling, meaning others' moods and sentiments affect me way more than they should, way more than I'd like. And with nobody around, you're stuck miserable by yourself, poisoning yourself. And you'll meet people once you start getting out there and meeting people who are poison, who are just negative. They're demons, horrible. They're just venomous, and they bring you down. But this is why positive or external positivity is like a muscle. Once you're strong enough with your positivity, consistent enough with it, you can, one, strengthen those venom people into positivity, into goodness. One, help them find positivity inside themselves. Or two, move yourself away from them or move them away from you to maintain your positivity. And three, people who aren't poison, people who are positive or are trying to be positive in the same way you are, you start seeing those reflections. You start seeing your external positivity reflected, shot at them, reflected back at you, and then back inside you. Right? And that's when that spark starts coming back. That's when that I can succeed. I can get what I want. I can feel happy. Starts soaking back inside you. You can't... Russell Brand, if the answers were in our own heads, we would have found them on our own by now, but we haven't. If you want to redevelop your spark, which you've lost because you're in a rut, you're an addict, probably, you need to go out among people and spark the change you want to see. And then, once you have been that man or that woman for others, they will give that back to you. And then you can stop being such a husk. So, now you have selected the sort of person you want to be, the archetype, the character, the framing you want to be, and you are projecting it. You aren't letting people shake you. You aren't letting the husk self inside you ruin your external positivity. You aren't letting yourself shit up the external self you are being. How do you keep that on track? Well, one, and we already covered it, but the better you see yourself in everyone around you, the better you reflect off others back into yourself, and in a good way, the easier it is to maintain. But what I like doing, and another thing I like doing, and one of the important things, shonen, anime, and manga, right? I like watching general hero's journey, action-y, boy, young man stories. Watching them, reading them. This is the hero working hard to overcome. And sticking to the idea that is what I want to be. That is who I want to be. And because anime and manga are so great, you have such a wide selection of heroic dudes you can pick from to model yourself after, or model your external self after. And you keep them in mind in everything you're doing. This might sound retarded, but when I'm having a hard time staying positive externally, or internally even, or making decisions, or setting boundaries, or taking action, I I have found myself recently asking myself, what would Shinra do? What would Denji do? What would Goku... I don't watch Dragon Ball, but I do like Dragon Ball clips. What would Goku do in this situation? Would Goku feel good, or would Goku be proud of me for making this decision? Is this a decision Goku would make, or isn't it? If it isn't, it probably isn't a decision worth making. It probably isn't a way worth being. Right? We are living... we're in hell, but we're also in an anime, right? We are in an anime. And you gotta be the protagonist, dude. It's your story. If you want to be the person you want to be, then you need to be that person. For me, that means WWGD and any other really great shonen protagonist. What would they do? Is that the decision they would make? Is that something I should do? Keeps me on track. I was an alcoholic for a few years, and then I kicked it because I needed to, but then I started falling back into it. No, not as bad as I was, but still. Both because I was falling back into old habits and because I was around people who were enabling those habits. But I felt like a fucking retard. I felt like a fucking loser after drinking then/these days, because it doesn't feel good. I mean, even in the moment, it doesn't even really feel good. Afterward, you feel like trash. For days afterwards, you feel like fucking trash. You embarrass yourself. You defile yourself. And my own body, fucking stupid. I know it's a bad idea. And I don't want it because it makes me feel like a retarded loser. But my body still wants it. But framing external positivity and framing yourself after the person you want to be helps stomp that stupid, useless shit out and prevent it from sinking its claws back into you. Is this decision, is this substance, is this line of thinking, memes, memetics, trains of thought can be just as poisonous as an action or a substance. Is this train of thought something the person I want to be would think? Something the person I want to be would do or would consume? A way the person I want to be would be? No. So then don't do it. What would the person you want to be doing? What would they be thinking? What would they be saying? How would they be acting? Do that. And then eventually, that spark starts coming back. You start seeing returns on investments in things. You start seeing sprouts in fields you thought were salted. And then it's exponential. The positivity becomes exponential, and you can achieve what you want to achieve and become the person you want to be. So, in summary, you want to escape the rut, the cycle. train yourself in external positivity. Choose the person you want to be and build yourself after them, especially on the outside. And never, I mean, you will break, but pick yourself up after you do and get better and avoid the same mistakes. Avoid mistakes you've already made. And if you're ever doubting yourself, consume more anime. Anime is always the answer. You want to power up, you want to, yeah, that's the person I want to be, or yeah, that's the person I am becoming, or I'm having doubts, or I don't know what to do in this situation. Consume more anime. Find your purpose. Stick to it. Become the person you want to be. And fuck, dude, consume anime. God, I cannot stress that enough. But that about rippity wraps this one up. Hope you enjoyed watching, because I certainly enjoyed making it. We're more than not losing, boys. We are winning. We are on the path. Stay the path. Like if you enjoyed, because that helps me out a lot. Subscribe if you haven't, because we do this shit sometimes. And comment your thoughts, because I love hearing from you. What have you all been up to? How have you been feeling? Have you ever asked yourself, what would Goku do unironically, and then taken action based on that question, unironically? Thanks again for watching my video. Really, we have a lot of fun on this channel. So much fun, in fact. Chapstick. You could fill a tube of chapstick up with the amount of fun we have on this channel, and you can keep your lips from drying out, which I am doing right now, because I got some dry ass lips, boys, and they can't be dry. They need to be moist. But that's how much fun we can have on that is how much fun we have on this channel, and I am looking forward to doing this with you guys again in the future.